Today we have an exciting show on New to the Street and Exploring the Block. First up, joining me now is world-renowned security expert, father of privacy, godfather of antivirus software, founder of McAfee Antivirus. He was also a 2016 presidential candidate and creator of Declaration of Currency Independence. John McAfee joins me from a remote location with Team McAfee. John, welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
So before we get started, my producer, Vince Caruso, wanted me to ask you a question. Is it true about the rumors about a movie being made about John McAfee? And if those rumors are true, will Johnny Depp or Al Pacino play you? They're not just rumors, are they?
The rumors are true, and it will be Johnny Depp, even though I specifically asked for Morgan Freeman to play.
So you got to be excited about that. That's a pretty big deal.
Well, yeah, I'm not involved in the production of it. It's, hopefully it's supposed to be a dark comedy.
A dark comedy, but it's exciting nonetheless because you're a pretty interesting guy. You've got a fantastic background, and there's a lot to learn when we're learning more about you every day. You're involved in crypto right now and Docademic. It seems like the crypto community is finally uniting for one cause. I heard you're behind it. Is that true?
Well, yeah, the cause is basically privacy and functionality. So many of the existing crypto coins are strictly for investment purposes and have very little to back them up. Docademic, I think, is going to be the next Bitcoin in terms of value. And here's the reason. It's the first coin that actually is attached to a medical system that allows you to get free medical consultation. They have an application. You press a button, a doctor comes on. If you have a bruise on your arm or sores or something, you point the camera at it, the doctor looks, gives advice. They're coming out this month also with a psychology component where you can press another button and say, I'm having a fight with my wife, I'm angry, what do I do? And the psychologist appears. And you also get free follow-up treatments. So people who are, considering the end of days, considering whatever, can push this button. A psychologist will come on. You can see the psychologist can see you, and hopefully work things out. Think about this. What is the most important thing in everyone's life? Is it not survival? And health care is one of the most crucial aspects of survival. So it cannot help but win. And it's up and running in multiple countries, and people are loving it. So Docademic, certainly, I think that's the big winner. It has the greatest ROI of any other coin in 2018.
So the mens rea, or state of mind, that people have when it comes to cryptocurrencies is a broad spectrum, because a lot of people don't understand what crypto is all about, and they just hear big numbers and virtual currency, and a lot of people are not familiar with what it is, but Docademic has something behind the currency.
It does. It has functionality. And the Docademic coins or the tokens are used for follow-on payment to doctors, and it's very, very cheap. It's not like going to a doctor and paying $100. It's like a few dollars in the Docademic tokens. So it's a profoundly valuable system. It's being widely accepted in third world countries, regions where medical care is simply not reachable, places like Africa, places in South America that are remote, and it cannot help but win. I mean, this is one of those things that if you have vision, which is what investing is all about, if you have vision, you'll know for a fact that in the long term, a couple of years, this will have to be close to Bitcoin in terms of enormous rates of returns.
What's the reaction been from the medical community, like the established guys and health insurers, and they can't be too thrilled with what's going on, but that's their problem?
Well, of course they're not thrilled, but neither are governments or banks thrilled with cryptocurrency in general. Because if you have a cryptocurrency wallet, you are your own bank. You can do wire transfers in seconds without having to get up, go to the bank, fill out paperwork, and sign your name. Every function that a bank has or provides is provided by your cryptocurrency wallet. Governments are not happy because many of these cryptocurrency wallets are anonymous, private. secure. So governments have no idea where money is flowing to or from or for what reason. So obviously this scares those that develop, those who are responsible for collecting revenues.
They want control and the banks want control. That's why they're not happy with it.
And they do have control now, and they're losing it.
So the crypto world can be cutthroat, but recently it's more like sibling rivalry. Are security tokens complementing each other right now?
Well, there's a lot of rivalry. It's like anything else where there is competition. If you have 2 or 3 coins performing the same function, privacy, for example, there's going to be competition. Those who own one currency are going to hate the others because as money flows from one to the other, people are gaining or losing appropriately. But in the long run, everybody wins. I mean, there is room for everybody. I mean, what if there was only General Motors? It would be a tragic world, wouldn't it? We would have terrible cars because they have no competition. You would have nowhere else to go. But we do have competition. Dozens, even hundreds of automobile manufacturers around the world, which makes every manufacturer pay attention, keep on their toes, and provide the best product. So that's what we want in the crypto world as well. So this rivalry that's going on will eventually calm down because we are all in this together. And hopefully we will work together against a common enemy, not each other, but governments, banks, the SEC, those pyramidal power structures that have developed over centuries.
How do you deal with people who are old school currency lovers? They want to hold brick and mortar, tangible currency, papers and coins, and they don't yet understand what crypto is all about, even though it is obviously the wave of the future. How do you get past somebody's concern? Because a lot of people, unlike yourself, fear change.
Of course, and unfortunately, the nature of humanity and progress is that some will be left behind. I mean, look when the automobile sprang upon the scene and people were driving around without horses and buggy whips. There was a huge backlash of buggy whip manufacturers and carriage manufacturers going, oh, this is never going to happen, and they stuck with it, and they simply disappeared. I'm sorry. This will happen in this world as well. My advice is learn. Go onto the internet. Google cryptocurrency. Google Bitcoin. Google Ethereum. Try to learn. It's not complicated. All it takes is a tiny bit of effort and a small amount of time.
Fear. A lot of people they just don't want to change. Now, people are obviously listening to you now more than ever. Why do you think people are tuning in to Mr. McAfee?
Well, I think I'm striking a common chord. I could care less about power structures, and I talk directly to the people. I have tremendous following among all of the groups, even the ones that are rivals with each other. Right now, there's sort of a contest going on that who can make the greatest meme involving me using their specific coin. It's a lot of fun for everybody. And what's happened is people have stopped throwing things at each other, at least in the privacy coin sector, and are working together and even praising each other's work in terms of creating these memes. So it's just getting to the people themselves, letting the people understand that we're in this together. And if we don't work together, if we do not cooperate and support one another, we're going to lose this war against banks, governments, the feds, and those that are in power that we are trying to replace.
How do you stop the government, whether it be the United States or other foreign entities, from trying to seize control of crypto and taking it over and not doing what it's supposed to be intended to do, which is help the consumer?
We don't have to worry about that because technologically, in the real world of physics and reality, they cannot. These are distributed systems. They don't have a central place that you can go and shut the electricity off and shut us down. It's in the hands of tens of millions of people already, and it's growing dramatically, tripling every year. So governments can do nothing. See, governments are very fond of creating legislation against those things they cannot control.
So Docademic is one of the highest return on investments in 2018. What is your price prediction for Docademic?
I think Docademic is going to grow like Bitcoin has grown in the past 2 years. I think in 6 months we'll see $5 at a minimum. And in a year from now, we'll probably see $30 to $35 per coin. And it should be. It is one of the most profound of all of the coins that are out there. So it simply has to, if you use your common sense, if you have any vision whatsoever, Docademic has to be one of the greatest. Again, it's already had one of the largest ROIs of 2018.
It's different because you hear about Bitcoins and all the other currencies out there, and I don't see anything behind the hype. And with Docademic, it's not really hype, it's reality, and they're trying to change things for the better for people all over the world, which is different.
Yeah, anybody, go onto Google or an iOS site, download the Docademic application, push the button yourself, see what happens, okay? But please, only if you have a medical problem, because they would be annoyed by going, oh, you really are a doctor, well, thank you, and hang up. No, but please, if you do have something that you would like to be discussed with a doctor, download the app, push the button, see what happens. It's astonishing.
And you get people that want to do business with you all day long. You get thousands of submissions. What made Docademic stand out from everybody else?
The fact that it was already up and running in all of Latin America. The fact that they were working, the fact that I could download the app, press the button, and see the doctor. And the fact that, obviously, healthcare is the most crucial of all of our interests when we're unhealthy. Self-preservation is number one for all people. What's necessary for self-preservation multiple times in your life? Healthcare. You have it now at your fingertips for free. And Docademic, by the way, is going to be listed on 2 major exchanges very soon, which will make the price radically and suddenly increase dramatically. So, again, there can be no better investment.
Healthcare is the biggest investment you'll make in your life, more so than Bitcoin, than gold, than platinum, than clothing, than food, than houses, no matter what, because if you don't have your health, you have nothing.
Absolutely. Health is number one.
Health is wealth. So yesterday you mentioned Substratum, Golem, and Siacoin in a video. Why are these 3 so important?
Well, I call these 3 the crypto triad. So let's look at Sia, for example. Sia is a distributed system that allows anybody to use spare computing power on millions of computers, pads, and even smartphones, so that your information can be stored in tiny bits and bytes all over the planet, encrypted. Nobody could ever get into it. It's also virtually free. It's not totally, but it's 100 times less expensive than using Microsoft, Amazon, or Google Cloud. So that's the first thing. The next thing is Golem, which does exactly the same thing, except with computing power. It gives users access to computing power all around the world. And Substratum. Substratum is the layer upon which both of these exist. It provides a completely anonymous, distributed, and decentralized system for the internet, so that you have absolute security. You've got access to things you could never have before at a very cheap price. And these 3 will rise together. As I say, I call them again the crypto triad.
Now, in your opinion, what is the hottest ICO or initial coin offering coming out now or down the road? What's next?
Well, okay, one of my favorites, and it sounds strange, is an ICO called Pink Taxi. Now, why did it strike a chord with me? There are 400 million women in this world living today who have been sexually assaulted. 1 assault every second occurs around the globe. So while I'm talking now, 10 women have been assaulted just in this one sentence. So Pink Taxi provides transportation services exclusively for women, using exclusively women drivers who are trained in and specialize in keeping women safe, where to drop them off, how to provide security. It is the most profound ICO that's shown up next to Docademic. And it has to also take off. You know that women who do take up a fair majority, not majority, but a fair percentage of the crypto world are going to just jump all over this, as they should. And so should the men, only because it would be a terrific investment. Now, Pink Taxi, why them? Because they're up running in 50 different cities already. I mean, you can go onto their website and see the women drivers, the hordes of pink taxis roaming around cities. And they're the cities that have the highest rate of sexual assault. Sexual assault had been declining until 2013. From 2013 on, it's been expanding, especially in developed countries. So to me, there can be no finer social cause and certainly no finer investment.
So what are the biggest projects you have coming out?
Well, we have a number, actually. Tomorrow, we're coming out with the McAfee market cap, which is the first real-time market capitalization program that will give you every possible statistic on every possible coin and provide analysis that's way ahead of anybody else. We're also coming out with the McAfee wallet, which will provide wallet services for the 10 major coins and an exchange between them. So you don't even have to go to an exchange with the wallet. If you want to exchange Bitcoin for Ethereum, you just put Bitcoin to Ethereum, the amount, and we do the exchange on the wallet itself without having to leave the wallet and go anywhere else. And then we also have what's called the McAfee Redemption Unit, which is actually a coin based on a fiat currency that is being printed now and will be delivered in a week. Beautiful currency that's backed by crypto. It's the reverse of what the banks are trying to do. Banks are trying to create a cryptocurrency that's backed by hard cash like the US dollar. It's an absurd thing. So I'm turning it upside down and making a completely different paradigm for fiat currencies.
So staying on that note, what banks are trying to do, what do you think is going to happen to the US dollar and regular tangible currency as cryptocurrencies become more and more prevalent around the world? What does that mean for tangible cash?
It means that cash, tangible cash, fiat currencies, will be devalued slowly out of existence. So that as cryptocurrency begins to spread, the US dollar, for example, will begin to decline in value until it'll take $1,000 to buy a candy bar and $10,000 to buy a loaf of bread. This is the ultimate not goal of crypto, but the ultimate mathematical probability for these fiat currencies. They have to decline.
So I want to know how people determine what the value of a Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency is. Like, I'm still trying to grasp at 9 o'clock in the morning, it's one thing, and then at 9:02, it's something else. And who's saying it's going to be worth this versus that?
Okay. Well, first of all, the value is determined moment by moment by what people are willing to pay for it. What's the value of a 1950 Classic Ford? Exactly what people are willing to pay for, just like anything else. How you determine the value in the future is a mathematical formula, which is very simple. The number of users of a cryptocurrency and the frequency of use determines its value. And all you have to do is go back and take the mining companies, for example, and take statistics, and you can absolutely predict, absolutely, with almost certainty, in the long term anyway, when I'm saying the long term, in a year or a year and a half, you can predict with almost certainty what that currency is going to do. And all of them, without question, are increasing geometrically in value day by day. Even though you might have Bitcoin drop from 20,000 to 5,000 in a week or even in a day, who cares? In the long run, you can predict in the long run with huge accuracy, sir.
So, John, what do you think needs to happen to really see the world adopt blockchain technology and cryptocurrency? And how do we educate these people? Because a lot of people hear the term blockchain, they don't know what it is, what it's all about.
There are a couple of things. Number one, we in the blockchain world need to design our user interfaces so that they are far more easy and simple to use. Right now, they're sort of designed for technologists. And, you know, we know what we're doing, and no matter how crude the interface is, we can work with it. But we need interfaces that invite people in rather than push them out. And number two, as you mentioned, was education. Now, unfortunately, there are no books, no hard books that are written that cover everything in the blockchain world or in cryptocurrency. However, we do have the internet. So just type in blockchain, read some of the titles, and click one. If you don't like it, go back, click another. As you go through it, you will find questions like, well, that's interesting. What does that mean? Why don't you go back to Google and Google that phrase and find out what that means? Because Google is the greatest information source and learning tool on the planet. So those who are willing to do that will very quickly be absorbed by the community and become functioning parts of it. If you do not want to do that, then you're going to have to wait until a book comes out that you can buy in a bookstore or something else. I highly recommend going to Google right after this interview and typing in blockchain or cryptocurrency and see what pops up and just explore.
So we were talking a few minutes ago about a special coin that you are developing that's going to be unlike any other crypto that I've ever seen. Tell me about that.
Well, it's called the McAfee Redemption Unit. It's a very interesting and unique concept. We're putting out 341,000 bills, just like dollar bills, of different denominations. Only they're extraordinarily colorful, beautiful collector's items, if you want them for such, with holographs front and back, printed on currency paper, and we'll be selling for $9.95 per unit. These are also linked to a coin on the blockchain called the MRU. You can activate that MRU by simply turning in your bill, turning in the paper. So you don't have the paper, but now you have a coin. One time and one time only, you can take the coin and convert it back into the bill. The coin will then be burned. So what's happening is this system will inherently increase the value of the coins by burning the ones that are returned to currency again. So it is inherently designed to increase in value from every single transaction. Also, in order to, each unit on the coin can be redeemed for 1 minute with myself in private, up to 100 units, which is 100 minutes. To redeem it, you have to show up in Mexico with a specific address, turn in your bill, get another address back in the States where you have to come and meet me, so that the cost of redeeming them is way, way more than actually paying for the units themselves. That inherently is going to increase the value of each unit, if you think about it. Only if my followers are going to do that. Universally, people believe they will. Why? I keep myself aloof from the world. It's very difficult to reach me, and I believe it will happen. If it happens, this will be something like the world has never seen. Am
I going to need a coin to come and meet you?
No, of course not, but you'll need a lot of money.
We'll just print some. I'm looking forward to it. Well, it's really interesting with what you're behind here with Docademic and the world of crypto, and I'm glad that you think that there are going to be big things with Docademic.
There are going to be big things. It is, without a doubt, the only coin that has popped up that could rival Bitcoin in value, simply because it is based on something which all of us hold dearly, our survival. And our survival in this society is frequently dependent upon the availability of medical services. And Docademic provides those services for free, or virtually for free. Not just the medical services, but the psychological services as well. Download the app, press the button, the doctor's going to appear. Now, please do not do that unless there's something wrong. But download it and see what happens. And beginning next week, the app will have a second button for psychology services, which will connect you to a psychologist. If you're thinking about jumping off a bridge, why don't you pull your phone out first, download Docademic, press the psychologist. He will appear on the screen in front of you and talk to you and hopefully talk you down. Now, tell me there's not value in this. Good Lord. And it's up and running in multiple countries.
Are you surprised nobody else? Are you surprised nobody else has done this yet?
I was surprised after I saw it. I go, well, whoa, what an idea. Why didn't I think of that?
You just took the words right out of my mouth.
I would have done it first. Okay.
So Docademic can also eventually, we're talking about healthcare for humans, but the world of animals is huge also, and veterinarians and people that take care of their pets. That's another revenue stream down the road for Docademic.
It might be. I'm not privy to their internal plans at that level, but even if it doesn't go to animals, simply having it for people themselves is one of the greatest things that's ever happened in our society.
Well, I thank you very much for joining us, John. It's been an honor speaking with you. I know you and I will be speaking monthly. Everybody anticipates every word you say, in this new world of crypto. Please continue to give us much more on what's going on.
I will, sir. Thank you for having me on.
It's our pleasure. We'll be right back.